Hey Grizzlies, welcome to our gradebook training for today. And I want to start out with this particular training to show you how to access kind of a sandbox version of the gradebook so that as you go through today's training, if you want to kind of play around with some of this stuff without fear of making any mistakes or messing up anything in your real gradebook, you can kind of go through and play with stuff. Now, before I show you how to access that, I will tell you that when you go into the training side, it will actually pull up your rosters from last year. Please don't worry about that. That's just kind of how the training portal is set up. And those are not necessarily the students that are assigned to you for this year. So let's get started. So right now I'm logged into mycfisd.net. So I'm going to click on my Teacher Access Center button. And when I open this particular web page, it is going to open to my login screen for Gradebook. And I apologize when I'm videoing and um, doing things at the same time. This gets a little bit slow. Here we go. There we go. So in this box right here, typically what you're going to see is that it is defaulted to what's called CYP Live. So CYP Live is our normal gradebook, and for the remainder of the year, we will always live within CYP Live. However, for today's purposes, I'm going to go into CYP training. And when I do that, you will not have this box to impersonate. That's just under my account. You'll just click OK. All right. So from this home screen, the rest of this video, I'm just going to cover general navigation. And then in our next video, we'll get into the actual setup of certain things. So on this particular screen, you will notice you have the list of all your courses. And these will typically list um, by course and by period, with your advisory being first. This year, we shouldn't have a separate advisory section. The only reason it's showing up on mine is because of the fact that it's pulling from last year's roster. So you'll see your list of classes when you log into your real gradebook. If you're logging into the training site like me, you'll see your schedule based on last year. The next column over here in the middle is your attendance. Now, normally, if it were a day in which we could take attendance, you'll see two columns. You'll see a button where you can click all present and a button where you can take attendance. We're actually going to go into navigating and completing that in a separate video because that's going to look a little bit different. The rest of the buttons that you see under the grades, so this first column where you have the B plus and the pencil on the book, that is your actual grade book. The second column, you should not see check marks when these appear, but it looks like a green card. This column is for progress reports, and then the final column is for report cards. Those are screens that we will access again at a later date, and so that training video will come out at a later date. Across the top, this is to get my home screen. The screen we're looking at right now is the home screen. Then you have the attendance tab where you can view your attendance by list or by photo. You have your gradebook tab where you can go through entry or setup. I also have a copy assignments option. That is only because in last year's gradebook, I had assignments. You may or may not see that first tab. The next one is for grade reporting. That is for eligibility, progress reports, and report card. And then the last tab is for email, roster, seating charts. Most of us don't use the calendar. That is all for this video. We'll go into more depth in the rest of the videos on what to do next.